Hello and welcome to episode 6 of season 2 of the Role Models podcast, brought to you by Authentic Collectables. We are at Authentic HQ in Perth, Western Australia. I'm Andrew van Leeuwen and I'm joined by Authentic Collectables boss, William Hall. William, how are you?
I'm probably better than you currently,
I
to be fair.
Feeling a little flat. I will. This is to time stamp this. It's Tuesday evening after the Townsville 500, and I walked into my front door in the wee hours of Tuesday morning.
Yes.
After a pretty busy weekend. So,
Pretty busy weekend and a complete and utter lack of sleep. So
yeah, a fair bit of that. So feeling a little bit need a little bit of recovery, I think, over the next couple of days. But
well, thank you for making the effort to
I mean, you say, do you want to come over and have a beer and do a podcast? And I go, yes, of course. I do. So it's never too difficult a decision to make. All right, let's chat about our Codeword winner from the last episode. It was at Simon Bishop 713. He said, I reckon that James Courtney podium has pushed me over the edge for buying one of the Snowy River cars.
They did look pretty good.
Do you reckon, what ones is he going to hang out for the podium car, do you think?
Yeah,
or
you'd have to, surely.
Yeah. All the Indigenous livery. That one out, that Speedcafe's poll was won by that car.
Yeah.
That was pretty specky.
And got the rollout at Townsville too. So, yeah, I think that might be on our list of Indigenous cars for this year.
I reckon you'd probably want to give that one a go. It did look pretty cool. Remember to keep an eye out for the code word in this episode for your chance to win a $250 Authentic Collectables gift card. It will show up in the YouTube version. So if you're listening to this as a podcast, go and have a look on YouTube. And find it and see what you
see our
win.
beautiful faces.
Yeah, and just comment. It's comment on the YouTube video, isn't it?
Yeah.
To do it? Yeah. Good. I'm glad I definitely learned how this works
after 2 seasons.
After a year and a bit of doing it, almost got it worked out. Again, was a very long week, basically. All right, I'm going to stop talking for a moment, and you can tell us what new releases you've got at Authentic Collectables.
While you've been busy in Townsville, we've been busy in the last month as well with some of our releases. Obviously, Chinese New Year tends to slow us down a little bit at the beginning of the year, but we're starting to hit our straps. So we started with our 2023 Darwin liveries, our Indigenous liveries. So we had Nick Percat's car. There's a few other Indigenous liveries as well. We've got Todd Hazelwood's Red Arc BRT car from the Adelaide 500 and Macaulay Jones's 2024 season livery. So just the stunning white Pizza Hut livery. Yeah. The white race cars always look good.
Yeah, it's clean. That white and red, nice sort of clean lines.
Yeah. Always looks good. Getting back to our Indigenous liveries, the 2023 DJR Indigenous liveries also look pretty good. We rolled those out. And then we had the first of our Mustang 43rds. I think it'd be the first ones we rolled out. So DJR again with their Bathurst liveries and Jimmy Golding's season car from 2023 as well, the Newlon Premier car. We also had some more Indigenous liveries this time on the Camaro side in 143rd. So we had the Team 18 cars of Mark Winterbottom and Scott Pye. Yep. They rolled through as well. Sticking on the Team 18 thing, I told you there was a few.
Yeah, no.
Rolling through them. The Tradie Beer car of Dave Reynolds from last year, which was a pretty good-looking car. So we released that in 1/18th. And the two Penrite cars of Richie Stanaway and, of course, Matty Payne. So we had those come out in the last sort of few weeks as well. So be sure to get into your nearest stockist to grab one of those if you hadn't already pre-ordered it. There might be a few laying about. There's not many left on our website of any of that product that I've just gone through, I don't think. We sold out pretty quick of most of that. So anyway, be sure to have a look on our website, go and visit your nearest stockist, and hopefully they've got one of those sitting there for you.
All right, now let's have a chat about what's making news in motorsport around the world, and there's been a fair bit going on.
A fair bit locally, there's been a fair bit internationally
too, really. A fair bit all over the place. We were umming whether we recorded this last week heading into Townsville. I think we made a solid decision to wait until afterwards because there was obviously some fairly exciting storylines. I mean, you guys obviously have a relationship with Dick Johnson Racing.
We do.
Tristan, who works, is usually sitting over there, but it's not right now. Designed that livery on that car. The livery kind of represents the new era of DJR, and that era has finally
broken
chalked
through.
up a win.
Yeah. Yeah.
That must be cool. Must be something special for you guys as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely for Tristan, I think he was pretty happy to see it roll across the line. But definitely, I think sort of, we've all been waiting for this, haven't we? Like this year, it was going to happen at some point.
Yep.
The rest of the weekend probably got away from them a little bit.
Yeah.
But definitely on the Friday, it looked every bit.
But I think what's important is they feel like they're actually onto something now, where George Commons spoke to Stefan, my colleague, about it after the race win, and they kind of were trying to continue using the Erebus setup, so to speak. It wasn't working with the new tyre.
No.
They were given this glimmer of hope in Taupo that it was working with the new tyre. So they kept going down it. And then in Darwin, they finally decided, okay, let's try something else, and went, okay.
Yep.
Cool. So even though they obviously went a little bit far in some direction that didn't, I think they might have overcooked it a little bit after it worked in Townsville.
But that's all part of the learning.
Yeah, I think there's confidence there. Brody sort of said on the Sunday night, like, yeah, okay, I know what it was feeling like, I think there's some confidence that they know what they're doing now.
Well, and Will was up there too.
Correct. Yes.
And so that's, Will's probably had the tougher of the runs, you'd say, so far this year.
Yeah.
But definitely, both cars were quick. If it wasn't for not putting that set of tyres on in quali on Sunday, both of them would have been in the 10 fairly easily, I would have thought.
Yep.
Of course, it's all retrospective. It may not have played out like that, but you would have assumed he ended up 11th, I think. So
yeah, it was interesting because he said we didn't have tyres for the shootout anyway. So I don't know if it was it was portrayed as a gamble, but it might have just been where they just kind of were on tyres, because everyone was, the more successful your weekend was, the harder it was going to get in terms of what tyre quality you had left come the shootout on Sunday.
Maybe there's another chat that we can have at some point about tyres too, because I can't see. I can't see why in our sport, where we go to all this effort to go to Townsville, build a street circuit, have all this amazing facility, etc., and then we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot by not giving all our teams enough tyres. Like I can see both sides. I can see the strategy side of you've got to use them right.
Yeah, but I'm probably chucking another set at them would have just meant it wasn't a great talking point. And look, I'm never an advocate for conservation racing.
No.
I never want to see, because engineers will just work out the fastest way to the flag, and it will quite often be the most boring possible way to do it as well.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, so I'm kind of never I'm never a fan of that. I would rather tyres that, hold on well and give drivers good feel so they can try and execute passing manoeuvres, and having enough tyres to be able to make sure that everyone's having a real crack every time they roll out on the track.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like everyone hates tyre chat.
Yeah.
Seemingly. And then all we ever do is talk about tyres.
Yeah.
It's like the F1 movie, which I don't think you've seen yet.
I still haven't seen.
Like just constant chat about tyres in the movie that we,
in a
is not
movie.
Like we complain about tyre chat during a telecast of an actual race, and they've gone and made this fictitious thing.
Yeah,
that then just has a lot of tyre chat in it. Like you just can't seem to get away from it.
It actually does make me less excited about going to see the movie.
Well, yes.
Like it's kind of.
I have my views.
Yeah. But other than that, Brock Feeney obviously won the other two races. They had a bit of a slow start to the weekend, 888, but obviously came home pretty strong. Brock's just in excellent form.
He's just in solid form, isn't he? Like,
yeah, he is.
You'd be hard to bet against him.
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly think for the Sprint Cup, or it's
that's done, even though it's not done yet.
Yeah.
Surely.
I think it's pretty hard to see him getting bested there. I guess for us from the outside, thank God we do have finals this year, and it's not a completely foregone conclusion, and there are all these opportunities for someone else to get in there and cause the upset, because I think if we were looking at a normal championship year, the way we've structured it in the past, it'd be pretty tough to beat him from here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to have to have a bad run towards the end of the year anyway, if anything's going to change.
Yeah.
But as you say, there is that jeopardy of the way the system's structured now, which is great. It gives us something to talk about.
It is.
But crikey, you'd have to be unlucky.
He's going. He's definitely going really, really well. It was a good Townsville event. You know, they introduced that they really turned the kind of look and feel of the event on its head compared to last year at Supercars, where they went for this youth orientated concert lineup, and like it was this really push to the younger audience. And it feels that after however many, 2009 was the first one up there, so it's been going for a long time now. They've kind of just hit the right chord with this country and western sort of theme.
Well, and it was the first thing you said, because we obviously, when Andrew walked in the door this afternoon, he's like, "Oh, how was your weekend? How did you enjoy it?" And the first thing you said was you kind of felt like the event has finally found its feet.
It's found its identity after all this time. Yeah. Obviously, in the early days, it was a huge event because it was something so new to that far north Queensland area. But you can't keep that up forever. No. The newness of it will just eventually wear off. And
it definitely has worn off.
Yeah, absolutely. But this was a real shot in the arm for it. You know, crowd was pretty good. But it'll take time for this sort of for what this look and feel they've created to actually really translate to getting bums on seats and people through the gate. But certainly they're teaming up with the bull riding, the PBR. That was a the only mistake Supercars made with that is that they massively undercated for how many people were going to show up for it, and the sort of arena they had set up was far too small. Obviously they were sort of guessing a little bit about what the interest was going to be, but my first thought when I saw it, when I walked in the track on Thursday, was, man, that's pretty small. So like that was the sort of initial feeling. So, but that's something that has been recognised by Supercars.
And I feel like that happened a little bit at Adelaide last year too.
Yeah, with the Speedway. Yeah,
100%. And they've already said they've rectified. Not that that's a Supercars thing, but that's being rectified for this year.
Yeah.
Because they are sort of taking a risk with some of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And particularly with Townsville, like the idea of, you know, the weekend being a big sporting weekend up there with the NRL, have a big game and what have you. Like you can see how for the town, the idea of having those two events is great. But from a Supercars perspective, sort of, well, even if we put a concert on, everyone's going to nick off to the footy.
Yeah.
So they've got that balancing act that they need to.
And that's why the bull riding was a Friday night thing, not a Saturday night thing, because there is an agreement with Townsville about not going too hard for the event, the additional sort of,
not to
concerts or whatever.
From each
yeah, that's right. So and look, even though the having the NRL up there isn't part of the Supercars thing, it is a very nice symbiotic kind of relationship. Well, it just gives people another reason to go to Townsville if you're in that area.
At the end of the day, Queensland government's paying for the lion's share of this.
Yep.
So it's about what Queensland tourism
are
getting out of the weekend,
yep,
not just what Supercars might want to get out of the event.
Yeah, so it was. I think a lot of the changes they made this year were really positive. Like I said, the bull riding thing was huge. So they've really struck something good there.
Friday race.
Yeah, I think there was obviously a few issues with it in terms of it was on quite early. I think I was skeptical about it, but at the end of the day, when you were sitting there watching that race, it was much better than watching a practice session.
Yeah.
So, like, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So, I actually think it was good.
Do you think it got more bums on seats on Friday, or did it feel like there was still,
I think you were still
bigger crowd on the Saturday, Sunday?
You're still going to get the bigger crowd on the other days, but there were bigger races. That was a bigger event. I think it was. Your Friday crowd is going to be what it's going to be to some extent, but why not give the people that have made the effort some racing to watch?
Is it worth making the day so hard for the teams, though? Like I get everything you say, so. But I'm trying to be
at the end of the
advocate.
day, like they're professional race teams. That's what they're there to do.
Yeah.
And if it improves the offering, the people that we really have to consider are the people that are sitting out.
Yep, in the sun
on the hill.
Yeah.
So I think it was a really positive thing. I think you would run it a bit later if you could. What they really want to do is try and tighten up the time between when the car racing ends and the bull riding starts.
Makes sense.
Because there was quite a big gap there. That gap you can't get rid of it entirely. It's always a little limited because they can't have the bulls at the venue while there's cars on track.
That makes a bit of sense, doesn't it?
They can. So they arrived. They were brought in after the Super 2 ride session or whatever the very last thing was, and they had to account for a Super 2 ride session as well. After the Supercars race, which is why the Supercars race was a bit early.
Ride sessions are always so exciting to watch as a fan on the hill.
But they had to then, after that, bring the bulls in. And then there are certain very strict regulations around the welfare of the animals in terms of once they bump into their little pens, they have a certain amount of time there to acclimatise.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And that dictates the timeline a little bit about sort of how they do that. So it's not as easy as just saying, well, let's just start it here.
Yeah.
Because they can't have the animals inside the venue while there's racing cars droning around.
And
it's unfair for the animals.
To the same extent, they probably then couldn't put a concert on or something in between either because of the noise of
there was a concert. There was a concert on. But it wasn't any sort of major sort of act. And it started like 6 o'clock, I think it started.
Yeah.
But so there was quite a lot of people coming into the track for the bulls. Like as we were sort of leaving, I sort of left, went home, had a shower, and came back in. But people had knocked off work and gone, cool, now we can go down there. So I think they'd like to tighten it up a little bit. But that's not completely easy. And it's the same thing with that Arvo race. I mean, you kind of starting an hour later would have been probably beneficial for your TV audience. At the very least, or people being able to get off work a bit early and get into the track and at least go, well, we can get in and watch this race. But I still think, I'm still glad they're trying to do stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's and it didn't feel, and probably around, it was an interesting result with Brody winning and all that sort of stuff. It didn't feel, the Friday race did feel flat in Sydney.
Yeah,
but this didn't feel as flat.
Yeah,
it just, there was a little bit more to it. So
I think because the Friday race in Sydney was billed as, season opener, night race, all of that sort of stuff,
whole season,
designed to get a crowd.
Yeah,
that kind of then fell flat.
Yeah.
Whereas this didn't have that kind of, didn't have all that expectation on it.
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's very true. So. Yeah, I think in a lot of ways it was a really positive event. There feels like there's a bit of optimism around instead of it just sort of existing as part of the calendar. It feels like it's got some identity and there's some they got something to build on.
Yeah.
So
and maybe they just pull a practice session out.
Yeah. Because
what's
the option is there would have been 2 half-hour practice sessions for the day.
Yeah.
Instead there was a qualifying session and a race.
Yeah, right? But just do P1 quali race, and then if you want to do a P2 on Saturday morning or something.
Yeah. Could do it.
Yeah. Makes more sense. Makes more sense. What's next on the list?
The GM Supercar Summit in the US.
So what do we know about this?
So effectively GM, as part of its whole new Team Chevy approach, has put together a package for teams if they want to take it up, to send people over to the States.
That seems like the curious part of it, but continue.
Next month. Well, it's to go over and see what Chevy has on offer in North Carolina there and at the tech center and all that sort of stuff, and give the teams an idea of how they could benefit from those resources. Yeah. Attend a NASCAR race, all that sort of stuff. The catch is that it ain't free.
Yeah.
So teams have to pay for flights and accommodation, which, to be honest, is the expensive part of the
correct
of the whole exercise. So there's a few question marks over what the take up will be. The GM crew are pretty confident teams will do it. Depends which team you talk to. You get very different answers on whether they feel that it is worthwhile doing at the moment.
It's sort of a curious. I mean, Erebus have sort of done this. They've gone and spent some time over there and what have you. Maybe not to the same extent of having the doors opened by Chev. They've gone more the team route than the Team Chev route.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's curious. Sort of, we've done all this for you, but you pay.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we'll have to sort of wait and see what the take up is. Because, like I say, there's differing levels of optimism. I mean, I think Team 18 will be fairly heavily involved. They're obviously looking to embrace this new homologation team role. And to be perfectly fair, based on their performance at the moment,
they're doing a great job.
They actually look like they're stepping up to the plate. And right now, you go, wow, that was the right team to take on that role, because they are certainly doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
At the moment, they're not Triple 8.
No.
There's obviously still ups and downs, particularly on Dave Reynolds' side of the garage, but
Triple Eight have also, been doing it for a bloody long time. We're not going to have Team 18 turn into Triple Eight in 3.5 minutes.
No, but there are certainly signs of life in that joint at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And bringing Anton into the team just looks like a better and better decision.
Yeah.
By the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's something about that fit is working.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't feel like there's ever been any question marks over Anton's ability as a race car driver. There were just question marks over whether he was the right fit for DJR and that environment, and the amount of expectation, to come back to that term again, there is on that team, and the amount of pressure, and particularly, when coming out of the Penske and Scott McLaughlin era and into all that, like, it was a really difficult job to get in there and to be able to be in the right frame of mind.
Well, and as you say, because it was sort of Scott's team, because it was Penske, etc., you really would be feeling like you were coming in to someone else's team.
Yeah.
Whereas I think he now has the opportunity to really make this team his own.
Yeah.
To an extent, particularly with, just the way it's rolled out. Yes, okay, he was replacing Frosty, and sort of, you could argue, well, it was Frosty's team, etc. But not in the same guise as what it's going to end up as.
No.
By the end of the year, it's going to build.
Yep.
Or it has been building, and it's going to get bigger.
Yeah.
New facility, etc., etc. There's not that baggage.
No,
I guess is what I'm.
And
sort of getting at.
And it just seems that it's just suiting Anton.
Yeah.
A bit lower key. He seems happy. Like, when you chat with him, he just seems like he's in a really good place.
On TV, he looks happier, as you say.
And he's enjoying what he's doing. Him and Dave do get on great. They worked well together at Erebus back in the old days. And there is just they're on the up. Those guys, like, it's not going to be a level trajectory where they just keep, like, there's going to be ups and downs.
Yeah.
And they're going to have their tough weekends still, but there is certainly something about the joint that's you got to kind of admire at the moment.
Triple Eight had a tough Friday.
Yeah,
it's how you bounce back.
Yep,
which we've always said.
Yeah,
as well.
Absolutely.
Speaking of bounce back, SVG hasn't done a bad job.
Yeah, he's had a couple of weeks.
That's a solid bounce.
Yeah, you go from people saying, "Is this guy got a future here?"
Yeah, and then all of a sudden,
the most successful non-American driver in the history of the series by a mile in no time flat.
Starting to be put against some pretty solid names in terms of strike rates, etc.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, he's doing a very good job. Could you make some NASCARs?
No,
you can't
sadly,
do it?
no.
Not even an Xfinity one? Can't even make a Perco car?
No, it's all locked up, unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah,
that is a shame.
Be nice. What would be nice is if that Red Bull Chevy of SVGs, that was very dark blue. Very dark blue. I'd like to see T8 maybe adopt that darker blue.
Yeah, because you're right.
It was almost black.
You're right.
Like, that did look mean.
Yeah.
That car, that livery.
Yep. No, that was very cool.
So yes, Jamie, pay attention.
Speaking of Red Bull, there's been a bit going on in Formula One world around that.
I haven't heard. What's been going on over there?
A few bits and pieces. Christian Horner out after 20 years.
Wow. Mind you, there are so many rumours flying around at the moment.
Yeah.
Captain YouTube, who's behind the camera over there, read one out today. Apparently, Leclerc's off to Red Bull.
Oh, wow.
Like, calm down, guys. Calm down, rumour mill. Like, it's just getting a bit silly.
Yeah, no, I think unless Charles is going there to be the team principal, then I think there's
yeah, that's right.
I think we've got a pretty good read on who's going to be driving their car next year.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And his
but yeah,
Max
sorry,
Verstappen.
you said you started the story, and I know.
Well, no, that's what we're here to do, is to discuss the theories. But yeah, it does feel like this is a decent pointer to the fact that
it's just
the war is over and the Verstappen's won, and Max will be there, at least into next year.
Motorsport is a highly political business, as we know, but man, there's some politics have gone on in that.
Yeah,
massively. Because I mean, you can't look at the performance of Christian as a team principal
and question
it.
No,
like, it just
no.
And Max was on the front row just the weekend prior to his sacking. Like,
yeah, well, he was on pole, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Was it pole?
Yeah, pole.
Yeah.
Like,
and if that race was dry, he probably would have won.
Or come very close.
Yeah. So, like, it is very hard to argue that there is a massive performance issue there. I'd be more worried about what the engine program is going to look like next year.
And maybe that's it. Again, back to politicking.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's going on in the background. But again, until you've actually got data to compare,
yeah,
you don't know where anyone else is as well.
It almost feels like that the fact that there's obviously something going on with George Russell's contract negotiations with Mercedes, which it would be reasonable to assume is over the length of the contract.
Yes.
And whether Mercedes wants to keep him as short as possible, just in case the Ford engine program is a disaster, and they do, then have
Max
the
is
opportunity
available.
to grab Max.
Yep.
And perhaps that has just worked out very coincidentally with, Max and his friends in the Red Bull world wanting to try and see if they could get rid of Christian Horner, and having these question marks and being able to leverage these question marks about what he does because Mercedes can't quite get to the bottom of its new contract with George Russell.
Yeah.
The timing's all just worked out beautifully.
Yeah.
And they've been able to leverage that by not ever shutting down rumors that he might be on the move.
Yeah.
That seems to me, if I was guessing, I feel like that's kind of what may be playing out.
Yeah. I can't really put all the pieces together just yet in my mind of how it's all making sense.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will all come and it'll all be very crystal clear by the time it does.
Yeah.
Or it's just an absolute mess. And no one's going to win.
It could be. We'll see. We'll see what happens next with Christian. He's obviously an important part of the soap opera that is Formula One now. He's become one of the real stars of the Netflix era.
He's just not. And I'm not quoting facts here because I don't have them, but it felt like when Ron Dennis kind of got pushed out of McLaren, he was probably ready to leave at that point anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think Christian is at a point in his life where he would be ready to give this up. No,
I don't think so. And I mean, I think a good indicator of that is like when the whole thing was going on last year with the stuff in his personal life and the whole WhatsApp fiasco and that. Like, if he really didn't want to do anymore, that would have been a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, just to pull the pin and go,
I don't need this.
Yeah.
And walk away. But he fought so hard to maintain control of that team.
Yeah.
Through all of that. So the fact that he did that does indicate that he still wants to be there. And he still wants to be competing. So we'll see if he ends up at another team or whether he ends up in a TV role or something like that. I don't know.
The conspiracies then sort of, have all fueled backwards as well of like what it was last year all about and where did all that come from and how exactly
it was always
have we got to
here? It was that a lot of it was being fueled by
maybe
the Verstappen camp and
maybe he does piss people off in the background that we don't see. But.
I'm sure all those powerful people do. Like you can't be in that role and be everyone's best friend.
No, that's exactly right.
It's just not how it works. So, okay, let's talk about the latest announcements from your team here at Authentic.
We've had a couple of those as well. Mm-hmm. So we just recently announced our plain body Gen 3 cars.
Mm-hmm.
So
love a plain bodied race car.
They do look good too. So black and white. Can't go wrong with black and white.
Yep.
Both in the Camaro and the Mustang. So get your pre-orders in at your local stockist for those, or register your interest on our website. We also had our exclusive website exclusive, I should say, James McFadden model, the dirty version from, speaking of Adelaide last year, the Speedway at Adelaide, was the Napa car he ran there as a dirty version. Sold out in like 2 hours or something silly. So
I reckon you might get a chance to make another Napa McFadden car after Adelaide this year. Just quietly.
Oh, there you go. Bit of breaking.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Bit of breaking news there.
Breaking news. I just wouldn't be surprised. It might be a bit of Napa money floating about.
That would have been much better. Anyway, we also announced the next of our Landaus. So one of our Landau, or the first of our Landaus, is pretty close to being delivered. So the sort of the announcement run will now be a bit more regular. So Wild Violet Landau.
Are they? I'd say I'm not fully up to speed with these cars, but we had a Ford LTD when I was a kid, and it looked a lot like that thing.
Well, it might have been, but it would have been a little bit older. Oh, sorry, a little bit younger.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. You
have to ask.
Not quite
ask JVL.
JVL next time.
He'll know exactly. But I remember as a kid, it was green, but it had that sort of tannish roof as well.
Would have been an 80s one though, probably.
It was pretty old.
Huh.
Yeah, I reckon 80s. I reckon 80s is pretty pretty generous.
That's pretty young.
Yeah.
We also had the next of our Ranger Raptors. So Performance Blue, one of those we announced in 1/18. A lot of roadcar stuff of late. We've kind of steered clear of our supercar stuff. So the next in our VEs, so nickel metallic, I should say.
Yep.
VE Commodore, and then something a bit wilder. So again, first of our street customs will be delivered the Fresh Mint in the near future. So second one of those is the Never Late. I guess I'm too old for this.
I feel like I don't see many of your fingerprints all over this project,
none of my fingerprints in this. So Fast and the Fuchsia.
This
does look pretty cool though.
This looks like a Tristan Groves production to me. It looks like these.
I think Captain YouTube might have had his hands are all over this one.
Looks like the sort of cars that I would have thought Tristan would have been cruising.
Bring a 20-year-old into the office and all sorts of nonsense starts to happen. And then back to kind of even a bit older than us. The Leyland P76, the next one of those in our range as well. So Peel Me Grape. I love the names of some of these older cars. So Peel Me Grape. I guess, you just call it purple.
It looks pretty purple.
But it's not. It's Peel Me Grape. So all available for pre-order now. So be sure to get into your nearest Authentic Stockist. If you're not sure where your nearest Authentic Stockist is, head to our website, click on the Stockist tab, bang in your postcode, and you'll find your nearest stockist, or alternatively, just head to our website and register your interest.
Rightio, let's crack into some questions, and there are a lot of questions this week.
We have had a few
because it's not really a week in between doing these, so I guess they do tend to build up a little bit. Anyway, the first one is for you. It's from Thomas Hayes 2650. What is on your podium of models that you would like to produce but you can't or haven't? It cannot include any Cam Waters Mustangs with that certain green energy drink on them.
Because that certain green energy drink car probably would fill the top three.
Well, if you take that out of it,
then you're probably making the other energy drink sponsors cars. Because there's a lot of those that I'd dearly love to have made as well over time.
You really do miss out on the energy drink stakes, don't you? I mean, no offense to, I'm sure you'll make a tradie energy car.
Tradie energy car will be all over the top of that.
The pink one looks kind of cool, to be honest.
I'll just stick with these, rather than the energy drinks. The pink car
looks all right.
We do need to decide whether we're going to do the pink Indigenous livery or just the standard pink.
I like it shouldn't look good, but it does look kind of good.
Yeah, it's an odd one, that one. Podium-wise, I don't know. There's a lot of cars that still haven't been done yet. There are a lot of cars that still haven't been done yet.
Fair enough.
So, we just need to get a bit more tooling underway, and then I reckon we'll start knocking a few of them over. Righto. Next question is for AVL from Ken McKell. If cost was not a factor, should it be compulsory for every team to have at least one wildcard entry for the Enduros, or just Bathurst, so as to increase the grid size, plus give more Super 2 drivers the chance to win?
It's an interesting one because it's not necessarily a cost thing all the time, because generally when teams run wildcard programs, they are
quite well funded.
Yeah, they're profit makers. That's where the profit margin is. I guess there's a reason why Supercars has kind of capped the wildcard thing, is because it actually presents pretty good value compared to Super 2.
Yep.
And it becomes too tempting for drivers to just want to do that, because you look at the miles that a Lockie Dalton or a Ryland Gray can get on a sprint between if they could do one sprint wildcard and then the Enduros, that's a lot of laps.
Yep.
And what that would cost compared to what Super 2 costs, because it is horrendously expensive, it suddenly starts to potentially hurt grid size for Super 2.
Yeah.
Which is not what supercars want and not what the teams want, because Super 2, is again that either teams can either sell bits and pieces down.
Yeah.
Bit tougher at the moment because they are kind of different cars, but there are still services that can be required, or they can go and run a Super 2 program. So, Tickford's Super 2 the margins on Tickford's Super 2 program would be better than on the wildcard.
And probably almost better than the main game cars.
Well, much better. Much better. There'd be no doubt about that. They would make a lot more money out of doing that than running the main game cars. So that's probably where because for a while there, you think about what like Jade No Jada did in, was it 19, where like you could run 3 solo rounds. And like the money to do that was, you were getting so many more laps than your 6 rounds of Super 2.
Yep.
Where you're all, every time there's a crash, you're on a safety car. Like your actual lap, like the dollar per lap, figure for Super 2 it's not great.
No. Is it something that, rather than forcing or asking main game teams to run wildcards, is it trying to incentivize Super 2 to step up to do Enduros?
Again, it's just so hard at the moment because they're different cars.
Yes,
you can't just roll out. We used to see more of it.
Yeah, once we're back to
you could do
parity.
that. So, I think we might see a little bit more of that in the future at whatever point Gen 3 becomes part of the Super
2 program.
All right, question for you, William, from Shane Jenkins. Did the COVID era help you guys or hinder you guys? Depends what you mean, I suppose.
There's the little factor of McLaughlin that was really quite hitting his straps during that COVID era.
Yep.
So from our perspective, that kind of polluted it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because in terms of our production numbers, etc., bearing in mind that we make to order, we just made a lot of Scott McLaughlin cars because
people wanted
there were people out there that were prepared to buy them. So I think had we not had that, it probably would have knocked us around a little bit.
Yeah.
In terms of production and China and all of that sort of stuff, it really didn't make a hell of a difference. Probably it was more our retailers that struggled a little bit because we were still able to get the product and make the product and deliver the product.
Yeah.
It was more just our retailers then not being open to help you guys get the cars.
Yeah.
Fortunately, as collectors, you guys, it didn't matter if it was a couple of weeks that the shop was shut or something, or your retailer was shut. You still went in when it was open again and grabbed the cars. So from that point of view, it probably didn't really make that big a difference. And as a business here, we were in Perth, obviously, so that made it a little bit easier for us than certainly
you could still
guys
come
in
in
the East Coast.
You could still come in and do what you needed to do
in
terms of the actual functionality of the business.
And we can, other than delivering our website orders, most of what we do here we can do from home as well. So it really didn't have that big a impact on us when we're a small team anyway.
Yep.
We're not a massive team of people, so easy enough to do. So I don't really have a definitive answer for that. Unfortunately, it's kind of it happened and we moved on and we're still here.
Yep.
So that's the important thing.
It is.
Right, next question for AVL from Matt Watts. What are the pros and cons for moving the Perth round from Wanneroo to a street circuit?
I think the pros are that, the supercars round in Perth could do with a bit of a boost.
Like
we just talked about the Townsville thing for so long, like it's if you just keep doing the same thing every year, you're going to get the same results.
Correct.
Like, this is what's going to happen. So, it's obviously a topic. I guess it's something that for you and I, like, we probably have a more personal connection and better understanding of the benefit that it can bring for the Sporting Car Club.
Yep.
WA Sporting Car Club, because we're members and we're involved and we race as part of the club championship and all that sort of stuff. So, obviously, once upon a time, the Sporting Car Club promoted that event. There was obviously the opportunity to make income off it, which became increasingly more difficult. Supercars took over the promotion of it, but you still sort of showcase their venue because that is the WA Sporting Car Club's venue. the way I look at it is that I think that if we can take motorsport to a bigger audience, the venue is actually quite unimportant because the street circuit will only be used for car racing once a year.
Yep.
So if you go to the street event and go, well, car racing looks great fun, I want to give it a go, and you start doing research about how you do that, you will end up becoming a member of the Sporting Car Club and going car racing at Wanneroo most times and maybe at Collie every now and then.
Yep.
Which is how most people go car racing in this part of the world. So I think, to me, the major benefit is get away from the fact of like it having to be at Wanneroo, put the sport in front of more people. And because I don't know that anyone's actually discovering motorsport at Wanneroo for a supercars round there.
No.
But I think there is the opportunity for that to happen with a big marquee event like the Perth Street Race.
And from a purely selfish point of view, back in the day when supercars would come to town, there wasn't the same level of national championship that came with it.
Yeah.
So you, as a local, you would get more of a chance of competing on the big stage.
Yep.
In front of a lot of people. That's really gone away.
Yeah, it's a rolling circuit.
It's a rolling circuit, so they bring their own everything, and really locals don't get a look in now.
Yeah.
Again, because it's not a club event anymore. It's a supercars
They
promoted,
are
supercars
good, and
everything
it is something that supercars does really help with, having a local category.
Category. Yeah.
So you do still get at least a little bit, but you're right.
But
most
it's not
of it
the
is
5 or 6 that it used to be.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So from that point of view, you know, and would we get a gig at the street race? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, you know, it really doesn't matter to us what supercars do. It goes back to
the
bums
exposure.
on seats,
and the exposure of the sport. So I think if and there's been some very positive messaging from the WA Sporting Car Club about saying, hey, let's utilise this event to our benefit. And I think if they're smart about it, the opportunity to do that really does exist. So I don't see any great cons to it. If it doesn't work, we go back to Wanneroo.
Yeah, correct.
Like, it's really no big deal. It's probably not going to last forever. Again, what we're talking about with Townsville, these things, they have their time in the sun.
Yep.
And then they don't anymore.
Sometimes they fade.
Yeah. So I really don't think there's any great cons to it. In my personal opinion, I think that it is a good thing. All right. Kim Mills asks, with Triple Eight taking on the HM role, the HT role, I suppose. But anyway, whatever. Homologation, hey. Yeah, okay. For Ford, if they change the dark horse, how much of the change will this create for you guys at Authentic? Will it be a simple nose, bonnet, and rear wing, or will the whole car need changing? I guess this is around the tooling, right? Like
So, and again, it'll be a massive depending on what they do.
Is it a pain if it's like one little lip on the spoiler or on the front spoiler? Is it a...
It just depends.
Sounds annoying.
It really does.
It does sound
it's just annoying. So, you know, for the Mustang already, we have a couple of front bars. We've already made changes to the
Ford
Gen 3
really
car.
jerked you around by doing 2 Gen 3 cars as well before they even raced one of them.
Yes, and then the Gen 2 Mustang, we've also got 5 different rear wings and a whole heap of other stuff as well. So it just depends. You know, if it's super subtle, then we probably won't change it because, again, you divide it by 18, and if it was only subtle anyway, well, you can't tell the difference. But if it is, you know, a massive change, then we'll have to do something. As I say, with the Gen 3 car that we've got now, we've already got a different front clip. So if it is just a different front bar, then that's a relatively straightforward change to us. It's not a complete throw it in the bin, start again. Rear wing's the same, unless the mounting points change on the actual boot lid change. So yeah, it's annoying. And it adds time to the process, you know, because it does require that extra tooling. Hopefully, not much changes.
Yeah, and
we just roll into next year, and we'll see. But again, that's a T8 question. It's not really a AC question.
No, I'm not sure model making is high on their list of whether we should or shouldn't do this.
I'll be pushing T8 to not change a thing and just leave it exactly how it is. It'll make it a lot easier for us.
Yep.
All right, next question for AVL from IHP Sacconi. How many podiums has AVL managed to score at the Wanneroo Raceway?
It depends.
It's a loaded question.
It depends if I've scored a hell of a lot if you want to count pre-90 ones. Once two state championships.
We've both had our fair share.
And I've had, so I've got I have absolutely no idea, to be honest. But, quite a few in terms of classes in a class, because most of the racing I've done has been in pre-90 cars, not in modern cars. I've only actually had the one in the modern
I think we're one each now.
Yeah.
In the role models era, we're one each.
Yeah. But yeah, certainly like the last couple of years in the older cars, there wasn't heaps of competition.
You were smoking them.
Yeah. But I got no idea how many, to be perfectly honest. All right. Question for you, Will, from Gary Peterson. You mentioned in one of your previous videos that production numbers on road and street cars are higher due to more interest. Will you guys consider to start producing more road cars more often? Your latest announcements for the road cars are fantastic. I assume they're the previous ones, not even the ones, or those ones would have rolled out through your social channels, right?
Unfortunately, and I think I've said this before. Unfortunately, we sort of
there's only so many racing cars you can make, right? At some point.
The problem is we fell into, the plan was always to do supercars, don't get me wrong, but we sort of fell into a situation where we had a Bathurst winner to produce, a week after we started the business. We had a deal with DJR that obviously then they went on an absolute tear. So sort of all of our investment and everything all of a sudden became very focused on supercars. So we haven't really had that much opportunity to go and play in road car land. And sort of as we've been playing in supercars, virtually every team has come and supported us and become a partner with us. So from that point of view, it's a lot of production every year is just simply dictated to supercar land. Now, would I like there to be more units made per car we make? Absolutely. That would make life a lot easier for us. But there's a whole heap of factors that mean that that's not sort of happening right at the minute. When we do announce a road car, that does seem to go much better in terms of volume, but also we're not doing as many. So kind of, supercar land, we sort of get in this situation where when we have got commitments to every team, there's a lot of cars we've got to make. We've added sprint cars into that sort of race car mix as well, which that's going quite well. So that's added to that. We definitely we want to do more road cars, but it's just fitting them in and having the tooling available. Again, we have the two lines of either going down the die-cast path or going down the resin path. We're doing quite a bit in resin land, but I'd like to be doing more in die-cast land. But it's just, as I say, it's a six-figure sum when we start talking die-cast land. So you can't do very many of them with the amount of money that's in my bank account. I'd like there to be more. Okay, next question for AVL from Pants17. Do you think a supercar video game could feasibly happen at all in the near future?
Yeah, I don't know. There was, when I was at Motorsport Network, there was Motorsport Games was one of the divisions of the business, and they were working on something that I believe fell over at some point since I left or whatever. Not because of that, but it was just, they had been some questions asked about, if we were going to do this, how we do it, and so I don't really know what happened there. I guess just the nature of the way that people game in motor racing terms has changed a little bit, because of iRacing and the fact that it's moved so much further into that proper simulation kind of thing as opposed to the console kind of era. So I don't know.
iRacing were working on a console version at some point.
And remember, a lot of these games, like the last big Supercars game was kind of that Supercars 3 or whatever, and that was like the reskinned Toka game. I want to say, like you just sort of you could just sort of reskin those games and all those sorts of things. So,
which at the end of the day was kind of on the same sort of engines, etc., as Colin McRae, I think. Yeah, it was all the Codemasters world.
Yeah, but I mean, F1 still do their own series, NASCAR still do their own series, so it's certainly it's obviously, I mean, it's a licensable asset, entity, right? Like it's something you can go out and sell as something. So
I think that from that point of view, it's a bit like us in terms of with gaming, like the cost involved in even reskinning the NASCAR version.
You've got to know you can sell enough of it, right? Like, you've got to sell enough of them.
So, the cost involved just becomes prohibitive.
Yep.
Whether Supercars wants it to happen or not, or wants a license agreement
I'm
with
sure
someone.
They would love that.
Oh, you would have thought so.
You want that on the shelves. Of course you would. So, but it obviously, like you say, it's not not as simple.
Unless the deal they've done with iRacing is in some way exclusive, in which case, then, they do in that case have a game available. It's called iRacing, and
that's what I mean. It's not like you can't digitally drive a supercar. Yeah, that opportunity does exist.
But again, you need more gear to make that work instead of just it being a console.
Yep, true. Is this the last one?
No, there's a couple more.
I won't say that then. All right, next question for Will. Troy Kavanagh asks, when a limited edition model sells out, is there ever a chance that model might be produced again? Now, if I'd bought a limited edition model and suddenly you said, oh, guess what?
Yeah.
I don't reckon I'd be
again. No. So short answer is no.
Yeah.
Long answer is yes. The only reason that we would do one again is if we're doing something different about it. So it would have to be a dirty version, or it would have to be a celebration version that might be covered in lemon glitter and confetti and what have you. But in terms of just rinse and repeat, exactly the same product again.
You bought one of 200. Well, now there's another 200 going out of the world.
Now, we have changed our theory slightly on some stuff. So the plain bodies, for instance, they're now an open edition. So the theory behind that is because when we get pre-orders for, say, 150 cars or whatever, and we make the 150 cars, and then someone comes back to me and says, oh, actually, I'd like another white one. Like, well, too late. We can't do that again. That's a little bit different. Yeah. So, because they're used for a far different purpose to what.
But as long as it's marketed as an open edition,
correct. You're buying it knowing that that's what it is.
You can't sell something as a limited edition and then go, well, let's just make it.
No, it's not. It's definitely not something that we've built our business on. That's just not something that we're prepared to do. Right, next question for you, Andrew, is from
come on, give it a go.
Said Grau.
Sure.
Let's go with that. Yep. Sorry if I've absolutely butchered your name there.
You almost definitely have.
Absolutely. Hi, guys. We saw more and more drivers go to the NASCAR Championship for one race or more. Do you think that it could be an issue for the Repco's Championship in the future if the young and brilliant drivers from Australia leave the championship and go to NASCAR?
Well, I think there was a little bit of unwarranted concern around this probably a couple of years ago when there was all these teething issues with Gen 3.
Well, I was going to say Shane was pretty vocal as he walked out the door.
And then you had Shane go and actually do it. And then, Cam was wanting to dip his toe into that water, and Brody had, gone over there and raced as well. And there was a sense it could happen. And probably, Shane winning and then landing that full-time opportunity made it seem like such a plausible thing to happen. But it's really the way it's played out since then. We know that it's just not.
Yeah.
And it's not a threat to what we're doing because those opportunities are very few and far between. And I think, to be honest, I think Cam Waters would love to go over there full-time. But I think creating that opportunity is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
No matter how good a supercars driver you are. And Shane having actually, as great as he's going right now, and as if you look at it holistically, how wonderful his achievements have actually been, he's also struggled.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that has probably put the brakes on teams over there saying, yeah, well, let's take a chance on these Australian drivers because let's not forget, Shane is probably one of the fastest guys that's ever sat in a supercar.
I was about to say that.
So he's not even a normal supercars driver. Like he's at his best, he is so insanely good, and it's been so incredibly difficult for him, particularly on those ovals.
You have to remember that Shane's CV wasn't just multiple supercar champion. He rallied, he did GT stuff all around the world. So he was leaving with a far bigger CV to sell effectively, because that's what he had to go and do, was sell himself in the States. So he was able to secure the gig and go from there and has done pretty well. But not everyone has that.
And these guys have to find money to do these races.
Yeah.
You know, like they all have to find money to do it. It's doesn't happen for free. Cam Waters has to find money to go and do those truck races.
Yep.
Will Brown has to find money to go and make that Cup Series appearance.
Yep.
So,
That's not to say that when they go over, they don't do a bloody good job. And
no, for sure.
Perko went over, he was doing a great job.
Yep.
When Will's gone over, previously he's done a great job.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't think everyone's just going to run.
No. Nope. All right. Question for Will from Christopher Ward. Would Authentic consider sponsoring a team in a larger capacity for something like a wild card? The Authentic Collectables wild card.
How many wild card models are you going to buy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Yep.
Look, I would rather at this point in our business invest in more tooling to give you guys a wider range of product to be able to buy from us than to
stickers on race cars,
waste money with stickers on race cars.
Mm-hmm.
We invest heavily in supercars in what we do because we make supercars product. To go over and above would be great. I'd love to have a wild card, things like that, but then I'd probably also like to be steering that wild card.
Yeah.
And if I'm not going to do that, not going to do that, then you'll be buying, GT4 Mustangs or something.
Yeah.
That'll have Hall written across it. And if it was an Enduro, it'd be Hall and AVL.
You did. Now we're talking.
But yeah, it's just not something that that I'd be considering at this point. Anyway.
Another question for you, William, from George Boak. When are we going to get a loyalty program going?
It's something that we're definitely thinking about in the background. We love the support that we get through our website from you guys. So repaying you in some way is definitely something that we're looking at. It's just how we do that and how we package that up. And
it's a little coffee card thing, right? Stamp it.
Almost.
Works well for me, given the fact I get my models direct from the source here.
Again, that's a vastly different. You get your models in vastly different way to everyone else.
Yep.
So
I don't pay for them for starters.
Yeah, that's right. And then you go and run into me, which I think is really unfair. So yeah, definitely something we're working on. Hopefully next year we'll have something to show off then.
All right, let's talk auctions. What have you got for us, William?
So we haven't had, because of Wanneroo and everything else over the last month or so, we haven't had any auctions for a while. So we're going to make it up to you. And so we've got 4 this month.
Gotcha.
So 2 Holdens, 2 Fords. The Captain YouTube will roll through what we've got coming up. One of them, in fact, is sitting right behind us here.
Toddy Hazelwood car.
Toddy Hazelwood car. So keep an eye out on our socials and our website. Auctions will come up. They'll run for about a week or so. We'll roll through them over the next few weeks. Try and get your hands on one.
All right. Well, that's been a pretty long episode.
Yeah, lots of questions.
Great questions.
Hoovering up the questions for the last couple of months.
Always fun to do that. And obviously some pretty big topics out there in the motor racing world to discuss.
We've probably left a heap of them on the table as well. But anyway, you get that.
We'll try not to leave it too long until we do another one of these. I was about to say we've got a bit of a break, but we don't really. Ipswich is going to be upon us.
And I'm off to that one as well. So we'll be on the bird together for that one.
Having a bit of a play at Queensland Raceway on the Monday afternoon, I believe. Could be a bit of fun.
Definitely enjoy that as well. Don't worry.
Awesome. All right. Well, at some point in the future, we'll be back with another episode of Role Models. Thanks for watching or listening. And remember to keep an eye out for that code word for your chance to win $250 gift voucher. And we'll be back at some point soonish.
Cheers.